That's cool. Let's try another one. Ema. While I bake chocolate chip cookies at the kitchen. Let's try another one. Cool. I want to take the business. So. So welcome. Hello, everybody. Let me get the camera going so I can see all the smiling, happy faces going, Skippy, what are you doing? This is a library. We're celebrating, we've started the August birthday celebrations. Let's see, go over here to OBS. Why can I not see? There's OBS. It's hiding away. So here. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Live stream time. My name's John Limcool. I am the owner of a website called PlugInGuru.com. This is our live stream we do each week on Saturday. Let's see, go over here and say hide. So here is our website, PlugInGuru.com, where you can get Unify, which is what we're using for showing most of these libraries. There's all sorts of cool libraries available. Today, we have a birthday library on sale. If you go down the list here in the list to not chill guitar phrases, but chili pop phrases. There's two different sets of guitar phrases. And I've got to fix that because it's not at a 40% off. It's 50% off because it's its birthday. It was created August 27th, 2 years ago. And it's $26 instead of $52 today only. The way that I do these birthday things is at the end of the month, I run a 1-day sale for that library. And I get to talk about a little bit, kind of reminisce, think about the libraries that have been released in the past. So today, Chili Pop phrases, these really cool phrases in Unify, they're available at 6 different tempos. If I want to go to phrase of 120, now I can call up the phrases and I play low C. And it starts to play. Up here in the corner, it tells you the chord progression. So there's a bass. I'm just playing bass. If I play the wrong notes, then you're playing the wrong notes. But and when you change to a different groove, it's going to change. Now, D minor. Right? They have voices in some of the samples. There's, I think it's like 60 some samples. I've licensed from a company called Sample Gods. They're license free, so you can create pop songs with them, do anything you want. This is them at 100 beats per minute. All these notes are different samples, and they're all at 100 beats per minute. So I have a drum groove hidden here, ready to go. They're all set to 100 beats per minute. Now, Unify doesn't have the sample adapting to tempo thing that's, DAWs and so forth have. That would require a license to some sort of a DSP engine like everybody else is paying somebody for that software ability for the most part. But I haven't, and if you play 75, it's the same sample. I use DSP software to slow down the samples. So here we go. And then if you want, because it's a Unify layer, you can open up this Unify layer. You could go to other libraries that here. Let's say Mega Magic Guitars 3, which has, I made a drum kit guitar. So there's all these really cool grooves. I love these grooves. Go to the BPM drums, to the combos, or the fulls as I call them here. And I can use any drum groove. Anything that's got drum grooves in it available to work with, you can use those now as your rhythm source. Whether it's plugins, if I didn't want to be groove sampler, I could call up something like, was it Mutronics? There's all sorts of different DSP drum rhythm plugins you can work with. They'll play at the tempo, they'll follow along, so it works really well. Oh, you never did download it? Well, it's then probably the way our website works, just for those of you that are new, after you've logged in, there's this My Account that you can click, and it will give you download links, license numbers, right there for you to easily download the libraries in the future. So just want to tell you up front, this is available at its introductory, not introductory, but its birthday price. Well, all these different sales going on. I love it. So also, just so we are clear on what's going on, we are still celebrating our ARP 2600 Power Pack. Peter Schwartz did some new demos. There's the Alien Goth Pop demo. This is all the ARP 2600 playing everything. The library is still on sale for $29. Lots of fun. Sounds great. So you got that to play with. If you have the Korg ARP 2600, lucky you. It's a really, really fun plugin to work with. We have a new library. Actually, there's two libraries to show you. There's one coming out next week from Timothy Ivory. Ethereal Skies. We'll be showing that in a minute. There's also a library I've been working on for a while that is just about ready to make its debut. I've got a couple more weeks of programming, but the sample acquisition part is kind of done. It's called Eternal Flow. Let me show you that first, because that's my pride and joy right now. This is a really cool, the idea behind this, Eternal Flow, is just about mainly cyclical things. If you're familiar with the wave station and the slower evolving wave sequence concept, I'm taking that concept into making a sample library where you play a note and it's evolving through different sounds. Right? So there's motion in all these sounds. Lotus reacting. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, you know what? I renamed it from that. I wanted to add the Evo to the name, so it got put up here and I didn't update the patch. Oops. But there's motion happening in these. Now, if we get through everything, we'll come back to this library and make some patches. On top of this, I'm working on a set of unique instruments that are not acoustic, but they sound and play as if they could be acoustic in a way. So that would be, do I have my plucks? Did I put them into bells? I have the wood bells. Here's the harp. So this is a harp. plays very nicely. And we can, you know, turn it old. If we were to call up, instead of this stuff, let's go to noise box, and instead of distortion, let's go to Chow tape model. We bring down the and we could go to the lower the tone. Let's go to the degrade page, turn it on. Make it so it's envelope so it follows the sound. Now, of course, we need to get it darker, so let's go over here and let's make it play a little shorter, like it's more like a keyboard. And then let's put some sort of weird LFO on here. So let's say hertz. Let's just say random. Let's hear extreme what it is. That's too extreme, right? So you bring it down just a little bit and then so we'll make all sorts of old retro versions of harps. I also found a really cool technique in this plugin I was working with to get a really cool kind of a chorus. So this is a kind of a Andreas Vollenweider, if you know older new age. And it just sounds great. And some other things, there's a sculpt bell that I created. And there's actually a couple different variations. And then the round robin cycles with all four of them. Because the other side of evolving for this library is going to be eternal, like rhythmic sequencing stuff. So I wanted some cool bell things. There's wood bells. To make rhythmic things that are going to be doing some really cool things. When you start putting these all together with the evolving things and the harps and stuff, you get some really, really cool stuff like this. So, so it's like an instrument sample library and synth and wave station evolving library all in one. I also have some fun. I'm going to make a few more of these. These are my, I have a little drum kit in the other room. And this is just the cymbals. And then put through granular and processing. Because these can make some really cool things like this. And then there's a really cool trick with noise box. I'll show you really quick. If you bring up the effect of noise box, so it's distorted, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but the way to control the distortion is a little hidden. It's in the graph, and you can have it's the slider here for the amount of. You bring it down, it's very little distortion, so we can bring the right. Okay. I can use this as a filter. Let's do this. Let's get it to be a little bit brighter, sizzly. Right? Like that. And then I can bring this up as a high-pass filter using this. And then put just a little bit of distortion on it. So I can get all sorts of really cool texture things, which when you start combining these, like let's say, let's go to the Lotus Relaxing and add. Now you start getting some cool textures from cymbals. Right? And you can put rhythmic LFOs and all sorts of things on it, but drum noises and stuff are really fun. There's also another, let's do this, let me solve this just for a second. There's another, then there's toms, which if I, let's see if we turn off the filtering here and here. This is really cool. It almost has a pitch. And then there's storm toms. Which again, once you start adding cool filtering and then high passing and so forth, you can get it. Get all sorts of cool texture things going on. So it's going to be a fun library. Been having a lot of fun. There's some crazy... There's the Neutronic Riff series. Hear that revolving? Just always changing on you. Here's Ocean Dreams. So it just sits. It's not sitting, you know? So it's kind of a Mega Magic Pads kind of a direction, but with motion in the samples, so it's not just static. This was an example where I came up with the name for the library and then I made sounds going in that direction. So my beacon that I'm aiming at is eternal flow, and things that create things to me that represent eternal flow. Any ring mod patch and how to produce sidebands. I don't have any ring mod patches at the moment. There is ring modulation inside of Unify to play with, and I don't know what you mean by sidebands, but yeah, sorry Glenn, there goes the budget. You know, I'm trying to always, it's a game with you guys. It's like, I gotta come up with an idea of something that doesn't exist somewhere else in the sound world, which is not easy because the sound world's very, very populated. There's lots of things, but there's a lot of things still haven't done. I have 5 audio effect plugins that nobody's made yet that are right here in my head that would just be incredible. I don't have a programmer to work with, so that won't happen right until I find the right programmer. But I'm always looking for something new and giving myself personal challenges. When you've done over 100 libraries of patches and you've worked for 35 years as a sound designer, it's refreshing that I'm thankful. I still have a whole list of libraries that I haven't made that I want to make. So, you know, Oh, I got to show you Silver Bells really quick. I love this. Isn't that cool? The ringing and stuff in the sound is... Love bells. Always have loved bells. Loved making bells since the early Korg days. Before Korg. Oh, and Doom Scroll's cool. This is a really cool one note. It's all one note. There's some side bands for you. Huh. Get me out of here. Yeah, I know. Daniela, I don't understand. He just added that feature. I mean, you're asking for something that was just added yesterday. So no, I don't have sidebands because that's a new feature in a very specific audio effect plugin. Thank you, Ivar. Appreciate it. All right, so we have another library that is going to come out before this one. I have another probably 2 weeks of programming I want to do. I'm just about settled. There's a few more things I want to add to the sample list here, but we're up to 38 different instruments to you know, you take 2 or 3 of these bells together and who's low? Yeah, you're too low. So let's go up an octave. And remember, one thing that's fun with Unify is jitterbox. So if you go to the little yellow button here and you go to creative jitterbox, and let's say 60 milliseconds, so it's got a lot of room. And let's take 2 of these, and let's actually the second one, let's make this even bigger, like maybe 100 milliseconds. This does a really cool job when you start layering similar percussive sounds. So remember to use jitterbox when you're layering, like if you're trying to do a big band, if you have a sax and a trombone and trumpets or orchestral things. You know, there's all sorts of things in the just subtle timing differences where everything isn't playing perfectly to play with. So don't forget about that. The other library coming next week is from Timothy Ivory. He brought us Serene Worlds about a year ago. A little over a year ago, I believe. Really cool stuff, cool pads and... Right? A little carried away on the effects sometimes. I mean, he was just getting and learning Unify. So for his sophomore endeavor, he has gotten a lot deeper and a lot more varied and come a long ways. And he's let me show you the artwork we're working on. This isn't the final artwork, but it's pretty cool. This is Ethereal Skies. And this is a library of just another inspiring library. Kind of goes everywhere. There's actually a lot of stuff in here for dance, techno kind of people and stuff like that. Yeah, Jitterbox is really, really, really powerful. It's one of those that can do some amazing things Here, let's do this. If I right click on revert, I can go back to my patch, even though I had changed and moved on. Every time you change patches after editing, Unify saves the state you were in, and you can right click on revert and revert back to the last 5 edits if you want. So I could go back to something I did, this was on the 24th, this is earlier today. And you can go to the settings and make it so it does more. Like here, let's go back to this. So here we are with our jitterboxes back. If you go to the settings, if you look right, where did he put it? There's a place where he put, right here, autos on patch load. You can set it to be up to 10 auto saves if you want. So that that list, when you right click revert, anytime you've done an edit to a patch and then you change patches but you didn't save it, it will save automatically for you in case you want to revert back. It's our kind of version of an undo that we think is useful. So I'm back. Now it's fun if you were to go up here to MIDI effects. Let me give you a really quick fun tutorial on rhythm stuff. Let's go over here and let's add blue ARP and let's say 8th notes. Where's our 8th notes? And let's just have it do a 5-note cadence. And I'm just going to click around here. Now, nothing is playing with this blue ARP up here, right? Because it's a master effect separate from the other layers. This is one of the real cool powers in Unify, is if you go to each one of these layers that you want that MIDI effect to talk to, you can go to where it says in, and instead of the raw input, here's the MIDI effect number 1 layer. So now by clicking here and changing all these to that in layer, I'm just playing 1 note, so if I play a chord, right? Now what's fun with Jitterbox, you have the ability to random the timing of the start. So right? Clean up a little bit. Let's make this a simple chord. Right? But if you click here, there's also these quantizing plus timing quantizing. And if you set it to something like 8th notes, and then instead of just being arbitrary, because arbitrary, here, let's do this, open both of these up. And let's set them both to 8th notes. And with them being arbitrary, that just means it's going to be any possible timing in there. So it's going to be weird. And let's pan one to the left and one to the right so you can hear it a little more. It gets even more interesting if you go over here to arbitrary times and you just say simple notes of possible 8th notes. So we're limiting it so it can't do any 16th, 32nd, 64th. It can't get into these other timings below this because I've capped it at 8th notes now. And then if you take this and you give it the plus and minus the full range, this allows it to go minus an 8th note and plus an 8th note or the real time. So now when I play that, now it starts doing this random timing fun stuff. Right? And then if you want to make it even more interesting, after your, whatever you use for sequencing, whether it's this MIDI effect or else if you use Scalar 2 or all the other MIDI effects, Harmony Bloom is super cool. After this, if you go to Creative and you put a trigger box, trigger box allows you to have them play on note offs. There's all these different presets you can call up. We're not going to use any of those. All we're going to do is play probability, and let's bring it down to like 20%. So what this does is this says 80% of the notes that go through are ignored. And now you're getting into modular synthesizer random probability generating effects, right? It's really, really fun. Like if we had this going, and then let's say we want to add, let's go to Ethereal Skies, this new library from Timothy Ivory, and there's some really cool keys. I like this keys right here. Let's load this into a new Unify layer. I'll take a second to find it and say, okay, I'm gonna load it. I told it to load it. It's having to wake up the hard. Load you. Oh, you know what? Is it? Huh. Let's see. Refresh the library real quick. Ethereal Skies is. Oh, let me have it rebuild the library database one more time. Can't wait till next week. Yeah, Touch the Universe. It's really well. You haven't even you're sold on the name. I haven't even played you any sounds from it yet. I love it. Glenn, you are the kind of customer that we love. I love that. So cool. Has so it's rebuilding the database. I added a whole bunch of libraries that I wanted to show because of the birthdays and stuff like that, and I think I renamed Timothy's library, and so it should now show up here. So we go Ethereal Skies. The keys I wanted to show you. Check this out. This Ace reverse key. Let's load that into a Unify layer and just silence it by solo. What happened? Oh. Uh-oh. I was wondering if that was going to happen. I'm going to have Shane help. Let's see. So if we go, it was originally called Sounds of... Let me do this really quick. So I want to get so I can show you the sounds. Timothy had named the library one thing, and then I tried to use my library renamer to rename it, and it did not work for some reason. So let me do this. Let's go over here to these. We have some utilities that you can, if you contact us, we can help you find them. Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. I didn't rename the actual folder. Ethereal Skies. That is why the sample, because it's looking for that. I believe that's going to fix it. Let me find out. Let me go here. Let's cross our fingers and see if that works. So let's rebuild it one more time. So how was your week? Did everybody have a good week? Can be used as a MIDI effect. Yes, pigments can be used as a MIDI effect. It has a MIDI out. Interesting. Okay, cool. You might not know. Let's see. Ethereal Skies. Let's see here. If we open up this Unify layer. Let's go to Ethereal Skies. Are we? It's working. There's Ace keys. Let me play a couple of the sounds for a second. Well, we have different artwork. Cool. Some really, really cool sounds. There's the Cinema Sewer. There's these cool basses. And they're short. They just go away, but you can play them in such different ways than if they were full and looped. Some loop. Go all over the place. 197 patches. But look at it doesn't have the 8 audio effects on the master output anymore. But these short guys. So it gives you a different way of playing because You can kind of do that in Unify with the amp using the LFO, but it's mono retriggered. There's all sorts of cool stuff. But these side basses are on purposely short. So you get that 16th note impulse power. There's a really cool ghost choir. Isn't that nice? The harmonic choir is equally lovely. So just really, really nice, straight ahead, usable sounds for lots of genres. It's ethereal. Right? But there's a ton of really cool keys, which is what we want to use here, the Ace. Isn't that cool? It's got some really cool, like, unk-unk kind of things going on. Now this, I'm going to put a MIDI effect right here. And we're going to say MIDI box. Oh, let's use Blue Arp again. Let's do this. I'm going to go and make this kind of fun. Let's go over here and say random. So whatever notes you play, it immediately just starts randomizing, which is great. Now, I'm going to go over here to Unify Standards, Creatives, to Trigger Box. Let's bring it down like you find the place where you want just the right amount for the type of melody you want. Right? Now you combine that with the other Blue Arp. So you get this kind of cool, it's randomly doing things. And then the piece de resistance, my friends, is to add, let's add a pad called Love. So you have this melody stuff happening, and you have a pad holding everything down. Then you can go over here to Mega Magic Guitars 3 to the drums. Let's add a groove. So it's very fun to build up from ground zero using such tools as Trigger Box. If I had Trigger Boxes not being used, it would sound like this. Which is cool too. What's fun is to put these onto a macro knob. So let's do that. Let's go over here to the knobs. And I think we can go to pay. Oh, he's got a whole bunch of stuff assigned here. Let's go to like macro knob 20 isn't being used. It has this little ear here. So all you have to do is click the ear and then move the parameter. And click the ear again and move the parameter. And now both of those are assigned to a macro knob. So now I can go from just a little bit to none. So the fun of Unify is that you have access to tools that let you like do fun things like this, right? Is it possible to map this drum? No, it's not. the mapping problem is the drum kit. I'll just real quickly, I'll show why I'm saying no, that this is not a standard MIDI mapping. I played a bass acoustic bass. And I thumped it and bumped it and did all sorts of things. So there's a range of the keyboard. I don't even think I tried to define it here. No, it's just, I think I did all 128 samples. It's a huge list of drums, and I organized them so that it goes from bass type of sounds to snare type sounds, up high or hi-hat type sounds. It's only bass, snare, hi-hat elements. That's it. So trying to do that to an easy drummer, kick, snare, hi-hat, open hi-hat, pedal hi-hat. No. Yeah, it's not there. So sorry. They're non-traditional, unique, unusual drums that work by themselves. You don't need any drum mapping standardizations. These are all having their own MIDI files that will play. So how huge choirs can you make, John? If I had the sample libraries, I could make 1,000-piece choir, because you can layer 20. Yeah, Ivar, it's as big of a choir as you want to make. You could make. That's it. I don't know how else to answer that. So. Yeah, Unify is a little bit over 2.5 gigs, I believe. Let's see if we go. And the main reason it's big is just because of the sample library inside of it. If we go to Unify's libraries, the standard library is about 3.6 gigabytes installed. All of the assets, binaries, and so forth are not that large, but the large sample content is what gets the size up. It's very easy. You can define where you want the content to be. If you go the main data folder, this is where Unify stores all of the things that it needs to have access and do all of its magic. You can put that on an external hard drive, and then you just tell Unify right here on this main data. If you click change, you can point to where you want to go. Okay, cool, DaVinci, cool. Now, there's an audio effect or two I want to show you. There's a free one, and so we should take a look at that, and we'll put that onto the drums to show you what it can do. Universal Audio. Let me show you. Let's go over here and say Universal Audio. They have, they want everybody to use their plugins. They are now, it used to be Universal Audio plugins were only if you had Universal Audio hardware. They have now transformed quite nicely into being working off natively on your computer. Some of them are CPU heavy, especially if you are still using an Intel-based processor-based computer. The newer Apple silicone processors, PCs, there's silicone processors coming. The embedded are starting to show up. They're far more efficient there because memory and everything is all right there on the same board. This is a free effect. So if you go to Universal Audio, if you just type in like Universal Audio free Century, you will find this. This is the Century Tube channel strip. And you have to use the, let's see, is it UA Connect, right? That's their app, which shows you everything I have installed. And it will show up here as something you can add to your database, right? Anyway, it's very, very nice. So let's take this drum groove made from me playing on a bass guitar. And we right click here and we just say Century. Here it is. Takes a second to load, and then they do this fuzzy And then they have presets. You can hear the overdrive starting to happen on some of these. So there's an overdrive. Here's the preamp, which you can overdrive. Let's put a little pad on. Is this not? How do I tell it to do the? Oh, I had to change it to mic. Then I have other settings to control with. Let's bring up the compressor. And it really can, without it, so it can really compress something down if you need it to. Really nice. It's got just a good place of flexibility to, when you're putting on real instruments and stuff, it's, let's do this. Let's call, instead of this groove, let's call up contact 7. I'll show you on an acoustic drum kit really quick. Takes it a second to load the important bits of the plugin. Oh, I should shout out to my dad. Today is his 85th birthday. I had a cute picture I wanted to share with you guys. This is me and him a couple years ago on a train. He is 85 years old today and still kicking. Doesn't look 85, doesn't act 85. My mom has been in the hospital recently with a surgery. 4 years ago, her femur, right in the middle of the bone of the left leg, just broke. And she's had multiple surgeries and infections in the leg and all sorts of stuff. And I think they finally have it under control. And she's had surgery in July. She was in the hospital for a while. Then she went home and then it got infected. It would just burst all these fluids out. And Dad was the nurse that would pick everything up. He's been driving to Boise, which is an hour drive to spend time with Mom. And then an hour back at night to feed the dogs and spend the night with the dogs, and then comes back the next day. The day of her surgery last week on Tuesday, he was up at 4. I mean, just an amazing, amazing man. And I'm honored to call him my dad. And happy birthday, Dad. Very, very proud to be your kid. So happy birthday. Let's get back to our drums and fun stuff. So here's Contact. I'm going to go to, let's say, the Modern Drummer, which does have standard MIDI note assignments. It has a groove engine built in, so you can turn this on. Let's say, let's just use this channel strip as an overhead compressor for this. And just to show you that this is all in time, let's see, if I went like this, I think there's a way to tell this to be, let's see if we go over here, grooves. I think there's a way to set it to be auto stop. I thought there's a way to get it to be, there's probably a setting somewhere I'm not finding to. Oh, here we go. Options. Kit. Trigger on mouse click. No, it's not what I want. Huh. Let's see, MIDI. Well, at least now it starts in. Turn everybody down. So now we can get to this audio effect. It's in time. You can slam. You can hyper it. You can thin it out. It's very, very flexible. This compression is great. So you get the idea. It's for a free audio effect. It's pretty sweet. So you need to give them your contact information and make an account with Universal Audio. But their effects are great. I can't speak highly enough for. If you go up here in Universal VR, I have far more than this. I actually bought like literally every audio effect they made when I owned my Apollo hardware. They've slowly, my hardware died and I haven't replaced it. They've been slowly bringing over all of these effects that are just wonderful. If we get the drums going again, I turned off the groove. If we turn this back on. It's just incredible, the fidelity. It's stunning to use these in comparison to other audio effects. You can tell a difference almost right away in a lot of cases. Yeah, so it's a way to get into. Then they've been doing, they're starting to do the inexpensive things. So they've got right now, actually, if you're here and you're getting this for Spark, right now they have except all the where is it? There's reverb, one of their compressors, all these things, reverbs. I think it's Sounds City Studios. No, it's $39 or $29 or something like that. Just ridiculously priced right now. I don't want to hear demos and stuff like that. So anyway, but if you get there, they've got a promotion on Facebook that they've been doing. So I saw that they've got that effect going for $29, which is crazy. You can also find all sorts of bundle deals to get their effects. Their compressors and EQ are really great. So highly regarded. It's ready to even 3. Yeah. Thank you. Right. Yeah, they have sales all the time, stuff like that. I guess, John, how normal is it for Universal Libraries to use? Yeah, we never do. You can't. I will stop any library that we release that's for sale. Unless it's really clear, like Vital. We did Back to the 80s, which is one of the libraries coming out this week on sale because it's birthday. It came out a year ago. It's a library built around Vital, which is a free synthesizer plugin. So these are samples, but if you go to the different BPM sequences, these are incredible. Well, these are the drums. So if we go to the BPM sequences, this is everything. So this is using Vital as the engine for incredible. So if we do one where we clearly state this is a library for Vital because we're using Vital for everything. Or if you go to the Airwave Melodic Techno, which is using Serum, this is a mind-blowing library. It's one of those secret weapons that a lot of producers that I send me notes that they're using this to do stuff because it is just disgusting. And everything, including all the drums and everything. That's way too loud because he's got it cranked and so if we make a library specifically for a plugin, but you can't use any third-party plugins just as like a special EQ or something like that, just because it requires people to install something on their computer that's not already installed. The nice thing with Unify is that we have all of these instruments and all these audio effects and stuff as our toolkit to work with. If we specify that it's for Serum, if we specify that, then we can talk more about that later, Timothy. If there's something you're wanting to do for some particular plugin, let's talk. Anyway, let me show you a little bit more about Ethereal Skies. This will be out next Thursday. There's Plux. And as you can see, he put a lot of work into cool layers. It's come a long ways, man. It's like there was the same basic delay and reverb on a lot of the Serene World patches that I'd mix up and edit really quick for the last 2 days before we released it. But I don't have to touch anything this time. He did great. Good stuff. So it's basically you're buying like a 197 patch synthesizer with this library. So it's really, really nice. Yes, you have to do cross-platform and with everybody and all their different computers and stuff. It's just something we don't want to do that. We've had situations in the Unify will be 5 in January. So we have had a couple of cases where things snuck through, especially with some of our community patches and stuff like that we do. And I have to go through and clean them. And you have to make sure that it's safe, that everybody can load it. It will play without a gotcha of a warning screen popping up, because that doesn't make people happy, right? The mod wheel, special effects. Cool special effects to play with. Princess Mononoke. Cool. Soundscape. Nice. Cool. So, Thursday, this library comes out, and then in like 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have Ethereal, what is it? Eternal Flow. I have to keep track of my library names. All right, there's one more thing to show you guys today. I paid for this. I wasn't even going to wait for them, and I usually buy their plugins because I know the guys at Waldorf, and I know how they work, and I want them to keep the doors open and keep being creative because they are a wonderful company. And this is a really, really cool, interesting synth. Back 35 years ago, the first synth they released was the microwave. And that's what kind of made Waldorf kind of pop onto the screen. they were doing the PPG type of stuff. The PPG had been out, and then it was gone. And kind of wavetables, well, Prophet VS did wavetables in a certain way, but not like this. The vector sequencing with digital waveforms is different than having a wavetable that you can choose and then cycle through the actual wavetable itself. It's a very unique sound. Either you love it or you hate it. It's one of those. And there's some sounds that you can't even tell. But what's fun with this is the wavetable knob is right here. So you can change what actual table it is using. If you go to the list, here are the wavetables that were shipped with the microwave. They have, if you go to the factory banks, they have 5 different sound sets, plus the factory bank, plus new patch libraries from Rapid Flow and 10 Phantom Rooms that are more modern productions. Has a unique sound to it. And it's an accurate enough recreation. If you go to the menus and to the hardware control, if you have a microwave in the MIDI system set up, you can hook it up and click live mode. And now you're controlling the microwave from this interface, which is really cool. And there's a video actually on the Waldorf page of a gentleman that's playing with it and working with it and starting from scratch on both. And he modifies and compares between the two. And every step of the way, it sounds identical between the two. So it's very, very cool. Yes, it's Ethereal Skies is the name of the library we'll be releasing on next Thursday. If you want information about this plugin, you would go to waldorfmusic.com. And it's on the front page. Excuse me for a second. You come over here. And it's on sale for 119 euros. Retail is 149, so there is a bit of discount. It's not cheap. This isn't they don't do the cherry audio model. I don't think they have the customer base. So they can't. And plus, they put an awful lot of work into this. I know these guys. I've interviewed and sat with them and had beer, and they're very, very smart, talented, huge passion for synthesis and sound. Another one of theirs that you should check out, just because I like their products a lot, is Nave. This is one that first came out on the iPad and was really, really fun. And they've now transformed it over to your computer. This is taking a lot of this stuff from the microwave farther. I mean, the sounds, you can click and drag the waveform. You can even zoom in, so it takes over the whole interface.
I am made and I do sing. I am made and I do sing. I am made and I do sing. I am made and I do sing.
So it's their stuff is great. Lots of experimental stuff to play with. So all this stuff is great. Microwave is their newest that they've just released. Microwave. So check out all their stuff. They have demos you can try out. Largo was also really cool. They've just updated that to version 2. These types of sounds is really nowhere else. Good stuff. There's some vocal synth things in here. Where's the voice synths? Let's see. Do they? I don't think they have a browser. I wish there's a way to like. Anyway, there's some voice synth patches. I don't remember where I found them, but they were really lovely. Your filter voice. So if we want to go over to the wave envelope, that is its own separate wave where we have times and levels. Let's see, wave envelope. Let's have it do something a little faster. So there's different ways of moving. You can use the LFOs as sources to modify things for animation as well. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Any questions? If you got any questions here. I mean, Darren, wait. We can, you can do, wait, Darren asked, we can mod Unify to rename patches. There's a couple ways of renaming patches. If it's an existing library that's in a protected form, let's see, let me call up one of these and reveal in the Finder. Yes, these are the protected patches, right? So they're UPFs. If you modify this, say this is the modification, right? Save, give it a different name, and then just go save as and save, and you can save it into the library with your own names. If you just put a number or something, then it shows up next to the originals, right? So yes, you can modify and save your own patches very easily by just going to the save page and then save as, but give it a different name up here, and you've been able to edit and modify the patches. Yeah, so you can do that. Yeah, no, DaVinci, I haven't had time to test your patches. Sorry. I don't have Atmos. I have 2 speakers here anyhow. And with my mom in the hospital and library development and stuff, it's just, I don't have time to do that. Sorry. So I wanted to do one more thing. We got 15 minutes. So let's go to Eternal Flow, and I'll show you how to do a rhythmic patch. Let's do a rhythmic wave sequence. So we're going to go, actually, I'm going to take this a step further. We're going to go to Logic first, and I'm going to make a MIDI file, and then we will power this patch with the MIDI file. So I need to, let's go over here and turn off the volume of this Unify. I need to reload. Let's just say, let's use, oh, why are you doing, oh, my volume's down. All right, and release, we want to be short. And I'm gonna make a sequence, and I'm gonna go. Okay, so. And actually, you know what? I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to make a second sequence. Okay. We need a little. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this one twice as long. So that way I can, let's see. Lose my interface, hit P, scroll to the keys, get rid of that, turn off loop, join these, and let's double this and join these guys, and Command 7 and get rid of any aftertouch on both of these. So they're clean. So now. So, after 8 measures or 4 measures, yeah. So, I want to transpose this down. Let's go to the notes. So, this is C3. So, we have, okay, so. Let's rename these now. So let's go over here to the text tool. This is, let's call this Flow Dance. Okay, so let's see, we're at 120 Flow Dance 1A. And let's copy that name, paste, but change the last to be B. So I'm going to take this and copy the name, export it as a MIDI file. Let's go to Unify, Libraries, go by name so I can find this. We want to go to Eternal Flow, MIDI files, new folder. This is Bell BPM patterns as the name for this, because I'm going to make quite a few things like this. So paste 1A. Go over here and let's copy the name, export as a MIDI file. There, I've made 2 MIDI files. And let's see, we can go over here and turn off retro synth. So we will still have our MIDI keyboard playing for those of you that want to see the MIDI keys. Now we can go over here to Wood Synth. And let's go over here. Well, we're going to do it from the top. So we're going to go to MIDI effects. Let's just make it an empty layer so we build it from scratch so you see what we're doing. This is going to be pattern 1A. And I'm going to actually add another MIDI effect because I'm going to want to, well, let's start with 1A. Let's one at a time. I could get carried away and I don't want to do that. So Unify Standard, MIDI box. We want to go to this library, and when I click this, now it will give me the directory in this folder, and we can say 1A. And if I was just to like go to the N and connect to pattern 1A. See how this has the name 1A. Now, it's playing. You'll notice that velocity, if I was to have a little bit of difference in the MIDI, I quantize it 100%. But what's great with MIDI files for this stuff is you can get into all the MIDI timing things, and velocity is per note, however you played it. So you have so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think I need 12 layers to do this right. So what we're going to do is after MIDI box, we're going to add polybox. And I think we're going to set it to 12 because let's see, if I wanted to come over here, let's do this. I'm counting inside of Logic. It has the ability when you highlight and stuff like this, it will tell you how many notes you selected. So I'm going to select, from 1 to the end of here, that's, 12 notes for the pattern. So because of that, I'm going to go over here and tell this to be up to 16 voices. I'm going to set this to channel for chords, and it's going to auto reset, which means that when you get done playing, it starts over again. And now I'm going to say duplicate this, let's say 7 times. Oh, wait. No, that won't work. So I'm going to hold down init option and click init. I forgot to do one important thing. I forgot to set this to MIDI channel 1. That's important because each of these layers for this to work have to be on different MIDI channels. So let's say 15. And then this is just about as easy as the other way of getting rid of 16. So I just need 12. Right? So now, see how it's playing? Here, if we put this into this mode, right? So if I change each one of these layers to be different sounds, let's say, and let's find the plug. You just go through the layers and find different things to play. Synthesizer pads too, if you take these samples, start later into the samples. So let's have some fun. Let's have this one here be a pad sounds. Let's say like maybe this, and move the sample start later. So making rhythmic stuff inside a Unify is super fun. This is like wave sequencing on a wave station where each step can be a different waveform from anywhere inside of this. So that means all of my libraries, I could use samples from any of these libraries if I wanted to. I can't right now because I'm making a specific library, so it needs to be contained. But if I wanted to, I could go to Mega Magic Dreams and I could choose, I don't have any sounds from Mega Magic Dreams. Huh. I don't know. Maybe it's because that's the Omnisphere version of Mega Magic Dreams that it's pointing to. I don't know why I did that. But if we go Magic Motion, here's all the different sounds from there. So I could say Eternus. That nice little bell, right there. This guy, that's from a different library. So the power of Unify for doing this kind of stuff is just insane, because you have access to whatever libraries you've put in here. So let's say we use, let's put a high pass on it so it's not quite so boomy. Let's have it be short. And then instead of noise box, let's have it be a reverb. So we go over here to our reverbs. Let's say Dragonfly Hall, which is nice. And I'm going to the different views I have. Let's see. Yeah, you're too loud. And I want this one to have a really snappy pitchy G. So let's go over here to one shot, custom, pitch. Keep it unilateral. So there. And then once it hits that, instead of noise box, let's make this be delay. Let's have it be eighth notes. Let's have it be a little bit off, so it's stereo. Fun. Now I have too much of the wood bell, so let's go over here and let's vary this some more. Let's use sculpt bell for the last bit. It's because Polybox is set up to be chord/AR. When you take your hands and the sustain pedal off and you play again, it starts at number 1 again. If you didn't use this auto reset, we just had it set to chord. Now, take my hands off. When I play new notes, it's going to continue from number 6. But I worked with Shane. We came up with the technique so that once you've taken hands off the keys and sustain pedal stops, it starts the sequence over at number 1 again. And if you keep the sustain pedal down or a note down, it will just keep playing. This little high octave splash, let's make it a little bit shorter. Like that. And let's have it splash with reverb. And let's use there's a new reverb we added a while back called Data Verb, which is really cool for this kind of sound. It's very airy and transparent. So now, let's go a little bit farther. We had that other sequence, right? But let's use it on a pad for like an LFO thing. So let's find something that's bright. Like Thin Sliver of Hope is really bright. That's kind of epic. But let's make it, there's so many ways. I'm getting goose pimples from that. That's cool. Let's try something fun. We're going to put a MIDI box, instead of a MIDI box talking to all the other layers, we're going to use MIDI box just on layer 13, arpeggiators, MIDI box. Let's go to Eternal Flow. Let's go to the B sequence. And to make this work, because it's a pad and we want it to be really intricate on its timing, open up this Unify layer. Yeah, it can be a Unify layer because that way you can like make more complex stuff. Make sure the amp EG start is there and make sure that we've also got... That's epic. Yeah, this is going to be cool. Let's give it a little bit more snap. So we're going to do the one shot, unilateral, custom. Let's do this. Let's make this a little bit brighter, kind of bright, but then let's use this to really emphasize that brightness. All right, let's see when we combine these, because this is playing a different MIDI file than the other groove, right? Let's use the Flex EQ. I'm going to turn it all down and hit the compressor a little hard. And then let's do one more layer. Like, let's use Dream World Rush Hour. What in the heck does that sound like? Let's just load instrument 1, because these are just... So that's rhythmic wave sequencing. Like, let's try drum groove with it just to see how it works. Unify standard library, drums. Let's use LA Sparse. Let's do this. Let's open this up on the macro knobs. I think I have, do I have a? I don't have. Well, we can fix it. So we just go over here. Let's set this to 2-to-1. So it's halftime. No, other way. 1, 2. Now it's halftime. Oh, and it's changing pitch on me, isn't it? So, okay, go over to MIDI box and turn off note coarse so that it stays at the same pitch. Let's go to And instead of enforcer, let's put in, just because I'm at my house and I'm not doing a library right now for this second, so I can say Century. Let's add in that Century channel strip. And then maybe I want to add like a 16th note pattern with that. So I could say load just instrument 1 of this. And yeah, it works. What's my output look like? It's a little hot. We're having fun. Cool. Now, this is a little bit almost too much cacophony, right? It's pretty cool. Well, let's see if we can shape it a little bit. So we'll saw down. Let's try one of the more complex presets. If you own Rad Waves, you get a whole bunch of really cool presets that do some cool. I love the idea of some things being out of your control timing wise, while other things are in your control. So you can get some kind of like, let's go over here. That's pretty cool. What should we call this? These little accents with the right bell. Both these guys here. And actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this MIDI channel 4 and this a MIDI channel 3 and swap places with each other. Oh, wait. Get 4 to be there. Right there. Actually, I want this to be 3 and that to be 4. Is that right? Yes. Like that beat. Now that reverb a little bit too much low end. So we're going to go over here to EQ filter max. Put a little high pass filter. About 400 hertz should be fine to get rid of the mud, and put that before the reverbs. That's the effect I want. Let's do this. Put a 16th pattern on the saw down. Okay, we'll call this BPM pad Hour of Hope. And BPM pad. Created during the August 24th live stream. All right. Save as save. I want to be the first bright accent. It might even filter a little bit. I'm putting a pump house on it to give it a little bit more. Maybe we'll do eighth notes. It just breaks up the high end a little bit. I want it to be so that last one on the 4 really splashes good. I want that one to have accents. This one here, I want to have more gravitas. Some more stuff to it. So I'm going to say duplicate the layer. And I'll put it down here at the bottom. It's 10, so I'm going to move it up here to 10. This is the thing with Unify. There's no limits to what you can do. You just have to be able to think it up, and off you can go. So let's put a pad. There you go. That's cool. Something that's going to make your ears go, what the heck did you do there? That needs to stick out more. A bit. Let's see, I might need to use some EQ to do that. Let's try a little distortion. And all the high end up. Yeah. All right, save. Option save to update. Go. All right. Okay, got it, Jet. All right, Touch, good to see you. Yes, Thursday we'll be releasing his library. Yeah, that was really fun. So we've got all sorts of stuff going on here. Shout out time. Shout out fall. Eternal Falls. Uniflow. I love it. All the good names. Good names. All right, everybody. Yeah, those are cool names. Reminds me of kind of the Odessa. Is it who is it? Yeah, that distortion is nice. It makes your ears perk when you hear it. So, who is it? I'm trying to think of. Oh, Odessa. That's what I was thinking of. Kind of Odessa kind of stuff, you know? So cool. Well, fun times. Hope you enjoyed the live stream and the hang. Don't forget, we do have today for half price chili pop phrases. And then tomorrow we have Tim Dale's library Omni X, which I can show you really quickly. It is a BPM library for Omnisphere and does all sorts of really cool stuff, more analog theme. But it's all BPM stuff. And here's multi-BPM. So if you can't get enough BPM, that will be coming out. What else is coming out? Let's see here. Monday is OMG RMX. This is such a fun library. This is one that has 760 patches because it has all these drum samples. It's kind of taking Omnisphere outside of where it was designed because there's all these different grooves. Like here's one, the weekday. You have a drum groove playing where I loaded up the drum samples for these 5 patches, and then there's an 808 sub. And then now we're at 120 beats per minute. This obviously would be something you would do more at like 70 beats per minute. So it's the idea of, it was originally a library we did for Break Tweaker. And the guys put all these really, really cool samples and grooves. And so we put the drum grooves and stuff, I programmed them into Omnisphere so that they... This is the original... But then there's also an RMX, and this is where it kind of got carried away. I would reprogram everything to be a whole different remix. Really, really fun. So low C on the keyboard plays a drum groove. If we get to the keyboards, there's a bass. And here I layered a guitar on a different layer. And then up above that is a keyboard sound. So all these different RMX multis mod wheel usually does something really crazy. So it kind of takes Omnisphere in a whole different territory than it was designed. They didn't design it to be a drum machine and bass and all that stuff, but it can do it, and it can do it really, really well. So there's all this stuff inside of this library that is on Monday. Tuesday, Mega Magic Guitars for Omnisphere, which was one of the early libraries of samples. Put it to Mega Magic Guitars. This is where you have, you cannot put multi-samples into Omnisphere. It's only one sample at a time. So this is using multiple patches to play multiple samples. And then using stack mode to limit each one of the patches to a specific range of the keyboard. So you could so the dry is dry, and then if you come over here to the Mega Magic, this is that same guitar but put through reverb and recorded into the samples. Came out nice. And Mega Magic Guitars 2, the MM2, the Mega Magic 2 is octave shifting shimmer in the reverb. Now here the samples have the reverb baked into them. In newer libraries for Unify, like Mega Magic Guitars 3, I have the effects as a separate layer. So you can go to the guitar and Bliss guitar, and it now loads up the dry as one layer and then the Bliss as another. And far more samples, more accurate. And that Bliss, you can mute it. Or you could solo it where you're playing just the Bliss. So I've learned, we've kept advancing things as we go, but Mega Magic Guitars 1 is one of the very early libraries of samples I did for Omnisphere, which came out really cool. Back to the 80s, that's the library for Vital and Unify that Bob Dedes designed. That's crazy. It has all these really, really cool patterns, and just going to the BPMs, these sequences, you can hear all the patches working together. I mean, yeah, it's great. Vital is such a great synth, sounds great. Go Go Tigers, this is... And then there's templates that give you the grooves as, let's see. And then if you change the different MIDI channels, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 give you the basses, all the sounds to recreate the actual Africa from Toto if you want. Cruel Summers here, all these different things have all the vibe is great. It's so well done. Bob did great on that. Thursday is Perspective. This is a BPM library I did for Omnisphere a long time ago. All BPM patches. This was a crazy one. When I did this, I designed it so that I created these multi-layer. If you open this up, it's using 6 different Omnisphere patches. That's just one note. So you can solo. So these are all separate patches you can use by themselves. Rhythmic elements. Put them all together. Oxygenated was for your... Bring up the mod wheel, whole different thing happens. I spent so much time on these, my gosh. But the idea was to put together these songs that I just created as I built. You know, fun stuff. Fun stuff. So that is also something that I released. That was in 2017, I think. So that's quite a long time ago. And then Mega Magic Dreams. That was the first library of samples that I did for Omnisphere, where they just released Omnisphere version 2. You could load samples, but you could only load one sample. So I came up with this system where I recorded samples with reverb. And because they had long reverb, it made it so you could... It would have more substance than just going plunk and disappearing. So this library has basses that... Right? Nice reverb and everything. So, and that's the last library of August. That will be next Friday. And don't forget, Thursday we'll be releasing also a new library for Unify. So we got a lot going on at the end of the month. So save up a few pennies if you want to take advantage of all these new libraries. And you know, these sale prices for Ethereal Skies will go into September. So you can wait till payday, like I have to wait for payday right now. It's like, watch my pennies. All right. Hey, how many Mega Guitar libraries are there? There's 2 Mega Magic Guitar Volume 1 and Volume 2. For Unify, it's a combination of Mega Magic. I think it's just called Mega Magic. I don't have it here right here, but I think just Mega Magic Guitars Complete or something like that. And the Mega Magic Guitars Volume 3 and Volume 4 are new guitars that I have done just with Unify, with more samples, all the things that we could do. Mega Magic Guitars 4 was fun in that there's a nylon and a steel string. I recorded harmonics and all sorts of things. So here's the steel harmonic. Here's the 2 guitars together. And now there's like note off guitar squeaks and all sorts of stuff like that. Came out really good. At the very, very top, you see the 2 guitars. There's the Tanglewood. Here's the steel. And the thing with this is that they're old strings. So that's why I kind of called it the old strings library, because that and the nylon both had just the natural strings. But if you go to the Ventura Bliss, this has the layer of Bliss added. So it fades in, it's lovely. Good stuff. Anyway, I saw you guys doing your shout outs from everywhere. Oh, Scotland, good to see you. Colorado, Belgium. You guys are everywhere. I just love it that everybody's all together. Serbia, good to see you, Kamika. Well, thank you for joining. Shout out from Boston. Hi, Brian. Good to see you. Welcome. Okay. Thank you very much for your times. Hey there, music doctor in the Netherlands. Right on. I'll see you next May when I'll hopefully make it into Super Booth next year. That'd be really nice. There's Taylor. Thank you, Taylor, for your help as always. I made so if you move the mod wheel, you get to the harmonics. But all sorts of fun tricks we've learned to do in Unify that we can't do in other plugins and stuff like that. Hit that like button. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Time Machine in Ohio. Good to see you. Big hug, man. All right. Cheers. Have a very creative week. Enjoy all the libraries and sales and all that kind of good stuff. We love to keep our customers happy. Have sale options for everybody to grab a hold of. And we will see you soon. Okay? Cheers, everybody. Bye.